in the draft quarterback conversation.
Yeah.
And I will say that I do think this takes them out of picking a quarterback at 3. I will. I don't know that, but my spidey senses, my instincts of being around football, my instincts of knowing the Giants don't seem like the type of team that's like, hey, let's get Jameis, let's get Russell, and let's pick Shedeur at 3 and make a total disaster of our offseason drama here. So every day, all we can talk about as a football team is the quarterback situation and the New York media and the New York Post. Like, that doesn't seem like a Giants move, in my opinion. I could be wrong, and I don't know that.
And to recap for those who didn't listen to your quarterback rankings, you think 3 would be too high for Shedeur Sanders anyway.
I do.
For any team.
Exactly right. I like Shedeur Sanders, right? And I don't like the fact that I hear people say, oh, yeah, you don't think he's a first-round pick, right? I do think he's a first-round pick. And he's better than first-round picks of past, for sure, that I can name, right? But he's one of those guys where, you know, like a Daniel Jones maybe at 6, where I went, wait, I see Daniel Jones, but 6?
Yeah.
I don't see that. Like I have told you, you know, the top 5, top 6, top 7 quarterbacks, I look at those guys to be like, wow, there's some really special things about that player that I haven't seen. Shedeur has a lot of good, but I think one of his knocks would be, what is that one special thing he has, right? And I think that's probably one of the big things about him as far as talking points in this game.
At top 5, top 6, top 7, you can get an Abdul Carter or a Travis Hunter. Guys are like, wow, he really is a game changer.
Franchise offensive lineman.
Or maybe a Tyler Warren, like we'll talk about here.
Exactly. So you can do things like that you got to figure out, you know, how you want to formulate your plan and for whatever else. But yeah, ultimately with Shedeur, like I told you, I like him, but I would want to take him, you know, down the line just a little bit. That's at least my feeling there.
What do you make real quick on Stephon Diggs going to the Patriots? They give him a whole lot of money. They got a lot of money to spend, and they have spent it.
They have spent it. The contract, like, we'll see about that contract. I think there's a lot of fluff there. $26 million guaranteed for a guy that's a number 2 coming off his ACL. I don't think he's getting 3 years, $69 million totally, just as it's written there, $23 million a year. To me, that looks more like a 1 year, $26 million deal, or it is still a lot, or really kind of a 2 year. We've guaranteed you 26, and in year 2 you'll get another, you know, 12 or 13. And now it'll be like a 2 year, you know, $38 million deal, where it's 19, 18 a year, something like that. I would envision that's what we're going to see when the details come out. But let me say this on top of that. I love this signing for both sides, right? I talked about this a little last week when we heard Stephon Diggs linked to the New England Patriots. Diggs is the perfect fit for the Josh McDaniels offense, especially as where he is in his career right now, Amit. Because we've talked so much, whether he was up in Buffalo or even last year at the start of Houston, he's not a number 1 anymore. He's an awesome number 2. He's an awesome route runner. And I think that's why Houston and Nick Caserio liked him. Caserio is really good friends with Josh McDaniels. They have the same eye when it comes to that type of stuff, where I'm sure that's why they signed him. And McDaniels is looking at it and going, and let me just say, Josh's little brother, Ben McDaniels, coaches in Houston too, right? So I'm sure he got verification off of that. But Diggs has a skill set that's like an Edelman, like a Wes Welker right now. He's amazing at all the underneath, intricate route running type routes. Option routes, run the slant route, retrace your steps, come back out, right? These little short area, double move-ish type of routes, right? He is phenomenal that way. So I think for the team itself, and they're going to get more receivers, I think, in the draft here. They're not done. This is the perfect guy to fill the Josh McDaniels slot option route, Wes Welker type of role. He's going to do all of that and be perfect at that. For him himself, Stephon Diggs, this is a great place to go, where if you're healthy and you pick up this offense, you're going to get 80-plus catches at that role in this offense and put up some yards to where maybe you can get another payday or whatever else, right? You're setting yourself up for success, or maybe see the totality of this contract that's maybe backloaded, right? So those are the good things, I think, there for sure. Drake may need some help. And New England now, I don't envision them. I'll be interested. I don't think they'd go. I don't feel like they'd go to Travis Hunter at 4. I don't feel like they would. I could be wrong there, but I can certainly see them being in the wide receiver conversation, as we talked about a minute ago, at the top of the second round, where I think there's going to be a lot of good ones there to be had.
They got Diggs, they got Mac Hollins as well, who should help at least a little bit for Drake May in year
Demario
number 2.
Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, who's a pretty good player, right? They got guys that are kind of coming up the ranks, but Diggs is the only solidified pro that you can depend on. And I think that's the positive thing there.
Yeah, they took Jalen Polk from Washington
right.
last year in the second round.
Right.
We'll see about that one. But, definitely spent their money. Robert
They
Kraft
did.
is
They're
not
back.
shy about they're trying.
They're coming
they
back.
Are trying.
They're scaring me. I know that. As a New Yorker who's sick of Boston sports dominating the scene. Okay?
And a boss who's a Patriots fan, too.
I know.
Like, that
I'm like, damn, are the Patriots already better than the Giants already? Did they pass us up already? I mean, damn it.
It's going to be a scary year for any Giants fan in this building, that's for sure. All right, let's get to it.
Yeah.
Your tight end breakdown. So we got 2 players who are talked about as being first-round talents. One in the top 10, possibly.
Right.
And one's...
I think that's fair.
That's the way you see it as well.
I think it is how I see it as well. I think there is. And yes, I think that the first guy we're going to talk about is pretty damn special.
So the guy in the first round is the Michigan tight end, Colston Loveland. So we'll get to him. And there are some people that are very high on him and don't think he's that far behind Tyler Warren from Penn State. But let's start with Warren, because he's been the face. He was the face of that football team. He did so much for them.
Yes.
And, it's a big-time program.
They messed up by not pushing him for the Heisman early on in the process.
Sure.
They really did. I mean, he should have been talked about more highly in that conversation. It's like they kind of realized it like week 9 of college football. They were like, hey, wait, the Heisman list isn't that impressive, and we got a guy that's a freak show every week. Why don't we start pushing him? And they got a little late on that in Penn State.
6'5.5", 255 pounds, turns 23 in May. That's Tyler Warren from Penn State. You dug into the film, deep dive. People think he's going to be a top 10 pick. What'd you see?
He's definitely a top 15, right? Top 10, I certainly can see it. Got a great body. He's just a naturally big, strong tight end, right? A little narrow in the hips that I wrote, but overall, I love his body, right? And got like the thickness in the upper thigh and stuff that I like, right? That's where I'm always a looking of a body of that kind of player that power and breaking tackles are very important, right? His run blocking at its best can be impressive. As a whole, he's not a dominant run blocker. He's kind of a little bit of a position guy. But I think he's a guy that has definitely untapped potential in this area because he's physical and he ain't afraid to hit and throw his head into you every now and then and try to really drive you off. So you do see elements of that, right? But as a whole, I think as you watch the tape, you go, I wish maybe he attacked that area a little bit more, right? But he had a lot of other areas he was attacking for that offense, certainly, right? His technique needs a little work in the blocking, but like I said, damn, he's good, and he does show the ability to be extremely physical and lower the boom, which I like, all right? The other thing is the hands are phenomenal. I mean, they're phenomenal. I mean, you saw the circus highlight reel catches. Yeah, he catches all the easy meat and potato catches too, but he's capable of making catches that I would say you don't really see tight ends make very often. Contorting their body, jumping in the air as they're reaching for a misplaced back shoulder ball, and he can jump up and catch it as he's falling to the ground and drag a foot. Or mossing somebody in the USC game, right, that we all saw, where he literally jumps over the guy and like it's in the other guy's waist, but he just takes it out of his hands and does that. It's rare ability in that department. That's where he's special, okay? And then it becomes more special. Now, let me throw in this little caveat. He's not the greatest route runner. He does it a little bit more just with his athletic ability and his feel for football. I'm not like, when he has to run a 10-yard in cut, I'm not like, oh, wow, look at how loose his hips are, and he can really plant his foot in the ground and kind of shift his body and then turn real sharply and do that. There's going to be other guys we're going to talk about that are a little better at that type of stuff, right? But it doesn't mean he doesn't still separate. He kind of just does it a little different way. He's a little bit more like, instead of just being so sharp at 10, he kind of just like, hey, he runs really hard at the guy, and he kind of just gives a little lean, and then he just goes, wait, I'm athletic, I'm just going to turn this way real fast and go. It's not like, oh, wow, look how sharp he made that cut. But because he's a good athlete and he's got some suddenness to him, right? All he needs to do a little sometimes is just give a little lean and then run the other way, and you're not going to catch me, right? Or give a little push with the arm,
right,
and you're not going to catch me. So that's how he gets open. He gets open a little bit more with natural feel and pure athletic ability, okay? So that's the one thing I think you could say negative. Go ahead.
Daniel Jeremiah points out something similar in NFL.com. He doesn't generate a lot of separation as a route runner, but he walls off defenders when on the move. Defenders simply can't get through his body to make enough plays.
He can do that for sure. Exactly right. And then I think the other thing he's good at, right, is the great natural hands. So yes, even if you're on him, he sticks his hands out and he's so big, and people are like little kids like trying to fight around him to get the ball, but knows how to change speeds. We've talked about this with receivers, right? As far as kind of coming off the line, and hell, he's just in a good stride, and you kind of get the DB or the defender to relax a little bit, like, okay, wait, he's not coming at me that hard, and then all of a sudden he hits it really hard and goes somewhere other direction, right? And then it's like, oh gosh, wait, hold on, I got to turn on my motor here all of a sudden. So he kind of does it with that. And then of course within zones or anything like that, he's got a great feel of, hey, I'm running through this zone, I'm running pretty fast, wait, I better slow down a little bit or I'm going to run out of the hole here and let me be friendly to my quarterback. So that's all that. But that's all before he gets the ball in his hands. Because the magic happens when the gets the ball in his hands. Yeah, that's when it happens. And that's where he is a top 10 pick and a special football player. Whether he can run away from you if you're not fast enough and not a DB that runs 4.3 or 4.4.
But he chooses to run through you, it seems like, more times than not.
He wants to run you over. And he has an unbelievable ability to get his shoulders low and kind of take smaller people out to where they don't get underneath his pads. And then he's got incredible contact balance for a guy that's almost 6'6". Like, it's rare to see that you can bend over and do that. Or he just runs so hard, the guys come and try to hit him on the side, and he just goes, you're gonna bounce off me. Like, I'm not even gonna do anything. I'm just gonna run so hard, so aggressively, that you're just not gonna hit me enough to knock me down. It's not gonna be hard enough. And that's where it's freaking awesome. Not gonna break your ankles, right? It's not gonna be, oh, whoa, oh, he shook me.
Right.
But he can slash and weave without breaking speeds, right? You can picture plays. He catches the ball. He kind of turns it up. Oh, there's a safety. He kind of goes to the left. Oh, now I got to cut back this way. He kind of cuts that way. He kind of just makes it happen, weaving through traffic that way. He's just a great athlete that way, and that's why he is a top player in this NFL draft.
I want to ask you about the comparison to Brock Bowers here in a second, but we have some video that illustrates what a great athlete he is, because he played quarterback, right? We saw him throw the ball from Penn State. He did it all on the football field. In fact, he also played basketball. He played baseball, along with being a starting quarterback.
This is insane.
Oh, throwing down a dunk.
No.
Easy.
Wait till you see this. Wait till you see these plays. I mean,
there's just alley-oops in high school.
This is a big individual. This is not
the basketball.
This is not some skinny basketball player, who's 6'5" and a half, 175 pounds. This is a guy with legs, an ass, and a thigh. Even here in these high school things, I bet you he's 230 pounds. Right? You could see. It's legit athletic explosion.
Oh, here he is as a baseball player.
There he is.
On ESPN playing in the Little League World Series.
Long drink of water.
I don't know about the swing, but he's definitely got some power.
Well, he's got power and length right
he's
here.
Throwing. Oh my gosh, the lefty on the mound.
Look at that, man. That's incredible.
He could have played either one.
Wears 44 because of John Riggins in
his
football.
Dad loved him.
Right.
Physical.
Yep, and he kind of plays like that with the ball in his hands.
Dang.
And I think a little bit of in what we just saw there, that's why he's not the most detailed, gifted route runner. I think he will be. It's just like, it's a little bit like we talk, like when you don't have to and you just keep getting open, who the cares?
Right.
Nobody cares.
multi-sport athlete too, not necessarily focusing on every nuance
Exactly.
of the football
right,
position, the tight end position. So let me ask you about that. So Brock Bowers had the best tight end season we have ever seen, right, as a pass catcher.
Right.
And coming out of Georgia, I think a lot of people said, like, he is a slot receiver in a tight end's body.
That's
now, he is a little bit shorter than Tyler Warren by like an inch and a half. And he's about 25 pounds lighter, Brock Bowers is, than Tyler Warren. So that would indicate to me like a little bit more of a shifty, kind of like more receiver-ish tight end.
You're saying it right. You're saying it right. He's like big slot receiver who can get in the way of some big people to help out in the run game. Brock Bowers is who we're talking about, right? He's that. But like, you're not gonna like make a living of going, hey, we're gonna run 96 power king, and Brock Bowers is gonna have his hand in the ground, and he's gonna take on Michael Parsons at DN and move him out of the way every play, right?
Can Tyler Warren do that though?
Tyler Warren can do that. Wow. Definitely better than Brock Bowers. Yes, I would trust Tyler Warren there. And Tyler Warren too, I think another one of these where I think his high end potential blocking is almost like the route running. He's got to get in the NFL camp, and once they teach him a few things and they go, hey, you can't just position block here in this league. This guy will run you over if you just kind of get in his way, right? I think he's got a greater degree of talent. He's just a bigger physical man, like you explained. Let alone, like you just said, he likes hitting people. There is plays as you go through the film and start to look at it where you go, he liked smashing that guy right there on the 96 power king run. Like, he liked it. You can tell it. Now, he gets the next play, he's playing quarterback, and then he's playing slot receiver, and then he's playing single side receiver, so he does it all there, right? But he's got better physicality than Brock Bowers. He's not as good a route runner as Brock Bowers, but he's better than Brock Bowers with the ball in his hand. Right, so all of that, yes. Brock Bowers, I think, is going to have more catches than him on a lot of years. That's going to, because of what he does in that role.
To get open.
Tyler Warren, I think, will have more big plays at the tight end position. More yards per catch, right? But I don't think it's going to be like Brock Bowers 105 receptions. He's going to be more of a guy that's like, hey, he caught 70 and he had 1,000, right? And made a lot of big plays that said, wow.
Well, Tyler Warren had 1,200 yards receiving last year at Penn State, 6th in college football. It was a school record for the Nittany Lions. That's a school with a lot of tradition. And he won the John Mackey Award for the nation's top tight end.
Yeah.
And if you take a look, it's like a who's who of the Mackey Award winners. Brock Bowers won it 2 years in a row right before Tyler Warren, but then you got Kyle Pitts, you got TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, Jake Butt, who had a great college career, got hurt at the end of it. Trey McBride, who's come on the scene here lately. So this is almost like a precursor to you're going to dominate in the NFL.
It is. It's a position where usually the top guy in college is one of the top guys coming out. It's pretty plain and simple to see this position when you are special. He is special. The hands are unreal. The in-air adjustments are unreal. He's trying to go to the house every time he touches it. That's what I loved about him more than anything, right? He is a playmaker, and there's a few things he needs to work on, but to me, those are coachable type of things where the rest of the stuff is not coachable, and that's why, I think for sure a top 15 pick.
One AFC scouting director said, when you ask about different prospects in the building, Penn State spends about 2 sentences on Warren because not much needs to be said. Elite player, elite character, who himself, James Frank,